Hello traders, this is my morning video. It's early in the morning, so I can't look at any volume leaders in the pre-market session yet. I'm actually expecting pretty much a flat day, flat to slightly lower day today. I think we're going to doji out for the week, so just keep that in mind. Seeing some initial signals that we might be seeing some rotation out of the risk on areas into more safety driven areas. So, but it's still early and it's healthy for the market to have a pullback off of the significant levels, significant highs in the markets. I'm going to look at the indices, world and US, XLF as a trend leader, some primary sectors, and look at some of the earnings today and overnight today and Monday. Okay, let's get into it. VT, this is our world ETF, ex-US equities, came back in a little bit off the 200-day SMA. This is a very significant resistance zone for this ETF. Shanghai Composite, I looked earlier, and it was getting a nice little bid, but keep in mind this is a trading zone that it's in, and so we can probably see a little bit more continuation Monday morning on this one as well. So, and that VT only updates during normal U.S. Trading hours, so it's going to actually catch a bid on the open today. This here has actually been updated already for the overnight session. And then we have a little bit of a bid in our Shanghai Composite, a little bit of a bid in our Nikkei, if I can get this to load. And it's just pretty much inside of a range there on our Japanese markets. And in our DAX, which is our Germany, we're closed right on that 125 SMA. This is really the what CNN Money uses as a bull bear cross in the markets. So we'll see what happens on the open in the German DAX. I haven't looked at the economic calendar yet. So see if there's responsive buying or selling in the German DAX. I think that's a major one because this is it's not at the top of this trading zone, in my opinion, since we've crossed over this trend line. The trading zone actually goes up to the 11629 area. Okay, what's going on with our SPY here? We are accepting prices below the weekly VPOC for this week. We were trying to put in some higher prices on our S&Ps. And as of right now, we're trading right below Friday's close. But there's this primary uptrend inside of our channel, and we are threatening to break that primary up channel on the open on our SPY. So that suggests that we're going to get initial selling pressure in the markets. I still think we're going to doji for the week on SPY, but that's just something to keep on your watch list. Okay, we have a very dangerous situation happening here in our Qs, our technology space. Basically, we've got this uptrend line that's been in place for some time now. Basically, we've got this uptrend we've been in all the way back from the end of last year. And we're right here, right now, testing that here on the open today of the trading session. A very risky situation. We have a squeeze situation on the 1 hour chart testing this trend line. So, we could quite easily find some responsive selling here in the markets. Now, I do want to point out here on the last week's value, how do I say it? Last week, we had a lot of volume at this price point. The highest VPOC for last week was right at this price level, near this price level. So just keep that in mind. We do have volume support right here. Despite the fact that we're at a channel range lows, we do have weekly support from last week at this price point. But seeing that squeeze, that's what bothers me more than anything. And we've broken our 125 SMA. on the 1 hour, and we are not catching a lift so far this morning. So keep that on your watch, please. On a more bullish note, if this is just technically a correction in the markets and we do catch a responsive bid today, the Russell has really outperformed this week, driven largely by financials and energy. But as of yesterday, we started getting a sell-off in our energy sector. In a minute here, I think we're about to get a sell-off in our financials. So it looks extended on our 4 hour. We're pushing a 2 standard deviation move on our 4 hour chart, but we do have a range resistance level above that I'm thinking the markets are wanting to tag the 160.04 area, and that is above this week's market maker move. So that might be supportive for these markets, thinking that the Russell is wanting higher prices to tag that trend line. But what's happening over in the technology space is quite concerning. So do keep that on your watch list. We do have overlapping volume points of control, a very tight range, and we are right near the last week's closing price. Very good chance we're going to doji out on our Russell. Quick rundown of our sectors. I had mentioned everything was up, and we needed to take a reset in some of these sectors. And as of yesterday, we now have some resets in our healthcare, okay, and our biotechs, and also we got the reset in our Qs. So keep that in mind. I'm really starting to watch the XLF. I don't have that here. Basically, our XLF, we're right here on this 1 standard deviation move and an uptrend line that we broke out above the past 2 days. It looks like we're failing, and we're coming down to a primary trend line support. We're going to be opening up and coming right into a primary trending area here on our XLF. So keep that in mind that this trend has been in place for the entire year for our XLF, all the way from the bottoms of the correction, and we are once again coming in here and back testing this trend. So keep that in mind that look how long we have been struggling on this trend, and it looks like finally that we are seeing we have an actual cross on our MACD. It looks like we're finally going to see rotation out of our financials. So just keep that on your watch. And then on your financials, you always want to keep an eye on your inverted yield curve. And the 1 and 2 years are inverted. They're inverted over the some of the other time frames. So keep that in mind. You're getting a spike in your 1 and 2 year yields here, causing a little bit of inversion happening in these charts. So be very careful that the financials, whenever inversion starts, and you've seen the chart, it really looks like the financials are preparing for a significant move to the downside. Now, as of trading today, I was talking about how I was seeing some weakness setting up here in the XLF. If last week's VPOC is not too far from where we're trading right now. So we do have last week's value and this week's value, and we're pinned kind of between it right here, right now. So if we do start coming down and testing this trend line, we're actually starting to reject 2 weeks worth of volume. And that is quite significant to realize. Just the mere testing of this on the close, if that's what we get, if we're at this level or below on our close, we're probably going to see some large institutions starting to dump into the end of the day. I'm just something very interesting to keep on your watch. We are so close in this little wedge pattern here. At some point today, I'm almost positive we're going to test this downside. I'm not I can't say for sure we're going to stay down here. Just something to really keep on watch. Okay, some of our oil sectors are breaking the one standard deviation, coming in nicely, getting a reset for possibly a breakout higher in our oil sector, assuming the markets were to. If the markets want to go higher, oil is going to have to be a driving force to the upside. So just keep that in mind. We tried to break out a couple 2 days ago. We tried to break out, and we came back in yesterday on our oil space, and so we get a nice reset here. The markets can definitely go higher. There's no question about that. We are catching a bid in the metals and mining space, and U.S. Steel was extremely hot yesterday for trading the options. So keep that. Gold's coming back in. The dollar still maintaining its bid going into Brexit, and so they've. There was over 72 countries 2 days ago that we're hitting all-time highs in gold, and it probably just needs a reprieve here. And we're seeing some rotation out of our healthcare stocks, which that's a risk-on area in healthcare. So just keep that in mind. Healthcare, they're already starting to rotate some money out of that risky area. And our mega caps is what's concerning me. We closed below our 125 SMA with a squeeze situation going on our mega caps. That's our Googles and our Microsoft, or that's our FANG and our Microsoft. And so this here is leading the techs to the downside. So if we do start seeing the NASDAQ rolling over, the big FANG stocks are the ones that are going to be leading lower. So just keep this in mind. And we are seeing a lot of weakness in retail stocks. After 2 weeks ago, those retail numbers were horrible. And we're seeing relative weakness in the XRT. And it's also a leader to the downside in these markets right now. So just keep that in mind on our XRT. We're going to be potentially crossing the uptrend on our retail stocks as of today. So important things to keep on watch here for the broader markets. A quick look at the earnings calendar. Roku had some decent numbers, put up some really good numbers. So if the markets do catch a bid today, Roku's probably going to be a leader. Baidu's trading up after hours, decent numbers. Based where it's located on the chart pattern, I don't think we're going to see huge continuation in Baidu. But as I had pointed out in the Shanghai Composite, there is room from here for it to go higher on Monday. So this is one I would lean to the bullish side if they come in. The trade desk, that one really outperformed in the overnight session, it's right at, if not marking, all-time highs on the trade desk. So keep that one on watch for a breakout pattern in the next couple days on that one for sure. And as far as we got Wayfair, really AutoNation. AutoNation is actually going to give us a really good picture of how auto sales are shaping up. So you always want to watch AutoNation for auto sales. And we've already had some quite disappointing durable goods orders. And that feeds right into the auto production. So durable goods is a leading indicator. This is a lagging indicator of the actual sales. But this actually gives you an idea of demand in the auto industry, in my opinion. Now I know Diana Shipping is a penny stock, but it's something that I do want to be aware of going into the Monday's earnings, because the initial we had a report. Another shipper came out yesterday, and basically they are really ratcheting down demand for shipping goods over the seas, and this is one of the initial indicators for industrials and trades between different countries, and this is a major signal for global strength. So you do want to be aware of what Diana Shipping is going to report Monday. This can be an event that's going to hinder XLI, the industrials. So keep that in mind, and this also could hinder the mega caps. So the big companies, the Dow components, and the mega caps could be all impacted by slowing global demand for goods and services. So you do definitely want to keep that on your in the back of your mind of what's going shaping up here going into next week. I do think we're going to see a continued, at the very least, sideways, if not a little bit more flat action going into next week. So the opportunities are best, in my opinion, are still better to the downside than trying to force the upside at these lofty valuations. Okay, and so give me 1 second. Okay, a quick look also on our transports, and this falls in with that Diana shipping. I do think the transports are a little bit overheated here, and be it time or price, I do think the transports need to come in and reset at least, I'm thinking on the 4-hour chart here, come back into the, so if we came back into the 177.93 area, and that is a significant area, that would be a great launching point for a continuation higher. We do have, this is a resistance zone in the past, has acted right here at this price point. So do keep this in mind. I do think we are at a significant topping area on our transports going into potentially damaging news the first of the week for global trade. And I'm going to finish off here with our semiconductors. We're coming right into our 8 SMA as of close yesterday. We're likely to be crossing over and breaking our initial signal line on our semiconductors today. So just keep this on your watch list. We are just a hair shy of that trend line. We missed it by a few pennies, but in my opinion, that's close enough. And we are rejecting a 1 standard deviation move on our daily. So there's a lot of reasoning to think that we are nearing a topping situation short term, even in our semiconductors. And of course, that is our technology space. So, and value for the week, it has been accepted at lower prices so far this week, going into the end of the week. So that's quite important. We are a very tight situation on our 2 VPOCs. So, yeah, we can just go sideways on our semiconductors. But if news were to hit that would be negative for our semis, that would be a driving force for the Qs lower. I don't want to breathe too much into the sell-off yesterday and my bearishness in the market, because there is historical volume support at these levels, despite the fact we might be getting some trend breaks. So just keep that stuff in mind that I'm pointing out here. I am more bearish, but I did close my bearish entries, and I was going to reset today to see how the market opens and see if buyers were to happen to step up. But I do really think XLF is people are going to start selling financials the first of next week, if not today. Good luck, good trading, and hopefully we can find some stuff. Be sure and like the video if you like it, and leave comments below if you can. And I will catch you next week.